Hello everyone, I am Charles Kovat, your not safe for work presidential candidate, and I'm here to inform you about more goings-on that caught my attention and the stuff that we ultimately need to look at and analyze and whatnot to determine how we're going to build a better society for tomorrow. So one thing that caught my attention was that HSBC is laying off 10,000 more employees. And yet the economy is doing really well, and the unemployment rate is just dropped. What is it, 0.2%? Yep, I can't wait to see when that's zero and maybe starts going negative, and people want to start to realize that, oh wait, that's a bullshit number, because the one you hear about all the time is the U3 rate, which that only counts people that are actually looking for work and not people that aren't looking for work. If you look at the Division of Department of Labor statistics for last year, about 120 million people worked full-time last year, and about 75 million people worked part-time last year. And in case you were wondering, we're a population of about 320 million people. So roughly a little more than one-third of the entire populace was working full-time. Meanwhile, last year, store closings to store openings ratio was about 2 to 1, and this year it seems to be more about 2.5 to 1. And of course, people will say, "Oh, it's the online shopping," and yet the market share, according to the Census Bureau, has only increased for so basically online stores have only gathered about about 0.5% a year consistently each year. So the online stores are only taking 0.5% more per year, but the ratio of store closings to openings is increasing. That doesn't mean that online shopping is taking over. And in the meanwhile, you got more automation going on and people getting laid off because their jobs are getting replaced by machines, and then everybody turns around and says, "Look, the immigrants are taking your jobs." Well, I guess that's true, because many of these machines have "Made in China" stamped on them. Although that's a little bit different now with the trade war and the tariff situation. And once again, I am not totally against tariffs. I am a person who's always been in favor of what I like to call stable equity tariffs. If we're exporting more of something, or if we're importing more of something, then vice versa, then there should be a tariff based on the percentage difference. However, this set of tariffs right now is really doing nothing more than taking money out of our pockets, yours and mine, and giving it to the rich. Let's not forget that big tax bill a couple years ago that basically said, hey, rich people have to pay less money. And Trump said, oh, the Chinese are going to pay because we're going to put tariffs on them. But you know, when I go to buy a product online and I go to checkout and I choose a shipping method, it always asks me what I like China to pay. So yeah, okay, I guess that works out. But I know usually what I say here is all bad stuff that's going on to us, but some good news is that unions are becoming more of a thing. More and more people are unionizing around the country and organizing, collective bargaining. This is a good thing. As I've said before, I'd take a shitty union over no union any day. But let me be clear on what actually is a union. A union is not an organization that you pay money to and they go deal with the politicians or whoever business company, and then turns around and feeds you a bunch of horseshit. That is not a union. A union is something that actually works by way of you and everybody else paying into a collective protective procedure to protect you and your fellow co-workers from having any bullshit done to them. It's sort of like an insurance policy. Speaking of insurance policy, there's a very interesting insurance that's being worked on right now, I believe by a man named Joshua Davis, and it's called TandaPay. If I understand it correctly, it uses the blockchain technology to basically create insurance communities. So how it basically works is that you contribute to a community, and your little community has a pool of money, and there's a certain amount of rules for which you can take the money out to pay for things, for different types of insurance, different types of situations, and the other people in the community vote on it and determine whether or not you're going to be able to take money out to spend for legal fees or medical fees or whatever. So it'll be very interesting to see how that changes the dynamic of everything. In another piece of news on the public getting their money more secure, or at least their financial situation more secure, apparently California has voted to have a state bank, joining North Dakota, who has had their own state bank for the longest time. And once again, this is a beneficial thing because it's no longer, the bank no longer becomes about making profits. Any profits that the bank would make go to tax breaks to, well, at least what should be the average person, right? So once again, a little piece of good news. And I wanted to talk more about the Joker movie, which I might see now because someone said it seems like a reiteration of the old movie Taxi Driver, which, if you've seen the movie, oh God, I haven't seen the movie in so long, I can barely remember any of it. But again, the movie seems to be about society creating its own demons. And if you ask me, all the people that are getting angry at this movie, but without even seeing it at least, are people that like to create demons, they like to ostracize people, they like to treat people like shit, and hate the mere fact that this movie exists because they don't want a mirror held up to them. I don't really like to vilify people. I know I may do it as a knee-jerk reaction sometimes, but I don't like to vilify people because, as I said in my other video, people make mistakes, and as situations like what I believe this movie to be exist, that people just get created because everybody just gives them shit their entire lives. And it's funny because the whole part of the whole left-right thing, people going against each other, you used to have people on the left who wanted to say, oh, we should be more forgiving, as opposed to those hypocritical Christian people who just want to lock people away forever or execute them or whatever. And most of the people coming out against this movie and wanting to vilify people are from the left. You know, this brings to mind an old adage, to which I will modify for these purposes, because I guess it's kind of true. Because people on the left and the right both laugh at me because I'm different, but I laugh because they're both the same. And I think I'll leave it there. Until next video.